my God, quilt people. I've been so sick. I had this stomach flu, or I don't know what, is food poisoning. It's going on like day 5, but I still wanted to try and keep up with my video posts as best I can. I don't know if you like fully understand how like this situation fully translates to like the real world, because I went to the doctor and she says to me, she says, "Is there any chance that your sore throat could be STD related?" I turned to her and I said, "I wish." I don't know what she thought I meant by that, but she had to leave the room. Oh, ow, everything hurts. It's just, John and I have been married forever, so like that whole idea of getting a piece of bad beef has been out of the question for, many, many years. But anyways, it was a funny situation. I just thought, oh my gosh, like, anyways, no filter. Hashtag no filter. That's me. So we're gonna try and get through this today. And I posted this quilt because it has part of the technique that we're going to be using on the next set of small Christmas trees that you put under the dome. I did that first set, which was just more craft based, whereas this one is more sewing based. So I wanted to do it as a separate tutorial so that people who don't really sew could skip over this, even though, hello, it is the Quilting Cowboy. We make quilts and sew. Ow. Oh, okay. So these vines, and this is a quilt I've actually never posted, and I actually really love it, even though it's super old. It's, I don't know, probably 20, look, it's all like hand done. Back when I used to sew by hand, just because I didn't know how to use a sewing machine at first, right? Anyways, stop talking. So these vines that you see here in this applique work are essentially the foundation for what we're going to be doing. And it's a combination of the weaving process that I used with the yarn and this vine technique. And this is a super cool technique if you want to do like vines or any kind of just straight stripe like this. It's a very cool technique and I loved learning it, and so I wanted to pass it on to you. So first thing that we're going to do is get your fabric and I suggest 2 fabrics, okay? 2 fabrics, and I'm going to be doing green and white. I think it's going to be really beautiful, and it's in this kind of shiny fairy frost for the fairy frost. What a name. But it's that sparkly stuff that you sometimes see in quilt shops. Anyways, I'm going to, first of all, lay it out on my cutting mat and then cut it on the 45. Important that you cut it on the bias, right? So that it is as flexible as possible, so that when you want to do curves and bends like that, I don't do a lot of things on the 45 on the bias, but this is important that you do it. Okay, so let's look at how to cut it. Okay, I always cut things on the bias with the fabric fully spread out. If you think you're going to be cute and, cut a corner by folding it in half and then cutting it on the bias, you're going to end up with like a V. So that doesn't work. Unless you're going to cut it at the kind of apex of the V, then that does work. But I always cut it full sheet like this, and so what you're going to do is just take the edge of the fabric, put your 45, right, 45 line that goes diagonally through your ruler on the edge of the fabric, right? And then just give that a cut. There. All right, let me just continue it on. Now, this project, while some are scrappy, this one is not necessarily a scrappy project because you actually need larger pieces of fabric and not just little bits, right? Okay. So we're going to cut that there, and then we're going to cut it at 1.5 inches. So for the length of your ribbon, if you're doing a cone like this, which is about 6 inches tall, you're going to need about 100 inches of the fabric that goes up and down. If you want about 14, or 15 going this way, right? And then for the other that goes around this way, you're going to need about 76 inches in order to complete that. Okay, so that kind of gives you a rough estimate of how much of the ribbon or veining, whatever you want to call it, you're going to need to make. All right, I have my 1.5 inch strip all you're going to do is fold it in half like you would binding, right? So fold it in half and then iron it while it's folded in half, okay? Let me stand over here actually so you can see this better. Iron is on, fold it in half, no problem, and then just easy, right? So with it ironed in half and your 1/4 inch foot on the machine, just run that through and hello pedal, let's go. One thing I forgot to mention is that of the fold, right, you want the open side towards the gauge of your 1/4 inch seam allowance. Know what I mean? I mean, it's probably going to land pretty close to the middle, but just in case you're a little bit off, sew the open edge, right, to the right of your machine or where that 1/4 inch foot is guiding your 1/4 inch. Okay, so again, open side goes to the right and against the 1/4 inch guide. Got it? All right, so the next step that you're gonna do once you've got that sewn, and again, just to reiterate, this side is open, right? Just like your binding. So on this side is open, which is kind of closer to the edge than the other side. And what you're gonna wanna do is cut along that open edge just on the other side of the sewing. Now don't get too close. You want to leave yourself at least 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to do this just freehand because it's cut on the bias. It's really wiggly. All right, so I'm just going to cut it on this side here, right? Just cutting off this excess, and you'll see why we're doing this in a second, right? So just trimming that up, getting rid of a little bit of excess so that you end up with something that looks more like this, right? Can you see that? As opposed to this, right? You can see the difference. It's just trimmed up a little bit. All right, so we have that trimmed up, right? And then we're going back to the ironing table, ironing board here, and we're just going to, with our fingers, kind of twist it like that until the sewing, the seams, go underneath, and you have kind of a tube that you're then going to iron flat, right? Which hides the seam underneath, and you can just tell by the crease where you ironed before is on the top, all right? So you just keep twisting and then pushing down and ironing. All right, so I have essentially all of my ribbons, or whatever you want to call them, essentially done. And so now I'm just going to take them back to the machine and either put a straight stitch on them or a little decorative stitch, just to make it look cute, and also to hold the seam on the back side so you don't see that original stitching, okay? So then you get this effect, right? You can see the stitching, the decorative stitching. Actually, to see it better, let's look at the back side where the bobbin thread is. Okay, but that has the original seam on it, so I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be using the kind of, off-white on off-white, which I think turned out great. All right, little snack. Gotta keep my energy up. Iced coffee. All right. So then, I don't know how tall your cone is, but my strips that I'm cutting are about 7 inches. All right, a little drop of glue on the top, and then pin it to secure it, and then do the same in the other on the bottom. And you're gonna take the pins out. That's just to hold it temporarily until that glue sets. Handy T-pin. All right, and there we go. All right, so I'm just going to keep doing that around, right, until I get the coverage that I want. All right, this is looking pretty good. Super cute. I actually decided to use the wrong side because I like the green stitching, right? The green stitching on the, it just shows up where the other side was just white, white, white. So now I'm gonna take the green strip and put a basting safety pin, right? Just a good size one on one end, and then take the other end and glue it. I'm gonna pin and glue it to the base here and then just weave this. All right, so I'm just gonna put this under here and then secure it down kind of under, right, with a little bit of glue. I do not love glue gun. It is just, it's like being caught up in a spider's web. Ugh. Someone could make $1 million if they made non-stringy, maybe it does exist, I should Google that. Non-stringy glue gun. All right, so got that, hello, and then just secure it with a pin so that it doesn't go anywhere. All right, then with this other side that has, and I'm doing a short little piece just so you can see the pin on it, I'm going to just weave it over and under. All right, here we go. Exhibit A, why I don't like glue gun. This is ridiculous. Ugh. Oh my God, it's so adorable. It's like a little mini quilt. Do you love it? Oh my God, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Okay, so by the time, hold on a second, this is very uncomfortable. There we are. By the time I get to the top, the very last one, I had, what is this? I had to tuck the last one into it, but essentially you just go around and around. Now I do go around once and then clip it and then glue it down and then start another ribbon, okay? Rather than just going with one long piece. Anyways, I am just, I think it's adorable. Okay, I'm gonna put a star on it. I'm gonna put some lights on it, and then we're gonna put the battery pack essentially in the you know, little dome on it as its foot, and then kind of, you know, do some extra things around it to kind of hype. Oh, some of this needs to be straightened out, I see. Okay, so we're gonna do that next. Okay, so now we kind of have a lot of the components together that are, I mean, it gets super easy from here, right? So you have your dome. I got this one at Michael's, less than 20 bucks. Okay, and then you're gonna have this, which goes in first, and then you're just gonna get a little bit of batting, which is gonna, you know, be the snow that's gonna go over top of it, and then, because you have to be able to reach in here and kind of flick the switch, right? Where the hell is it? Here it is. All is not lost. So that goes there, and then I'm just gonna take these lights and carefully wrap them and pin them. Look, these ones have stars. Are you dying? Everyone's dying. I know. It's so cute. And then I'm just going to pin these in here really carefully, and then I'm going to put a star on the top, and essentially that's it. How cute is that? All right. I'll let you know when I'm done. All right, the lights are on. I decided not to put any other decoration on it because I really want just the kind of quilt to show through. And so what I'm gonna do next is I have it like this, right? And it has to go down like this. So I'm going to just take a few pins and put it in there so that I can wrap the wire around it, right? And then I take a piece of batting that's like this and cut it basically in a circle, but with a slit like this so that I can slip it in there after I, you know, essentially get all those wires taken care of. All right, so real close up here. I'm putting in 4 pins, right, which will serve 2 purposes. First thing I can do is wrap the wires around them. Secondly, they will act to stabilize around this battery pack, right? So that it's not just sitting just, you know, loose on there, but it actually has a little bit more structure with these 4 pins that are kind of holding it in place. Okay, just final stages of putting it together. Those T-pins underneath are really stabilizing as feet around the battery pack, okay? And then just cut, you can see like this is a little too long, along the groove of your dome. Cut off the excess. Shablam. And turn it around. It's a wire. Get that tucked in. All right. Get it square. And how cute is that? Can you imagine showing up to somebody's house like for a dinner party or something like this, and handing them this as a gift? It's so magical because it's a completely separate entity. Like there's no wires, there's no, and people are like, how do you do that? Merry Christmas, everyone. I appreciate your support. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. That would really help me out. And as always, me and my family, it means a lot to us that you support us in this little crazy adventure. All right, talk to you soon.